This is a Corel Draw tips and tricks video. Just go over a couple things that are shortcuts and how to move around your workspace. Let's take the rectangle tool, hold down the control button, and you get a perfect square. I only want this thing to be 1 inch. It made it 1 inch both ways just by changing one number because I've got this locked. If I didn't have it locked, it would, well, let's just do it. Let's unlock this. And now I want this thing, let's say I want it 1 inch. See, it made it it didn't change the other number. So I keep that locked. We'll delete that. I want this little cube, and I'm a laser engraving, and that's mainly who I'm making this video for. Laser engravers are always going to want to use the top left corner. You could spend half of a minute trying to get this thing in the corner and still might not be in the corner. So let's take it away from the corner. I've got my corner of this is set at 0, 0. So I'm going to set this to 0, 0. Well, 1. I guess I hit 1. -1. So you say, well, I moved it 1 inch off. Why isn't it 1 inch off? It's only half of an inch off. A lot of people don't see this right up here. It's going to, object origin, it's going to move it to the center. Now, if I put this here, click that there, and then move this thing 1 inch off, I need to be -1. Then it's going to put it right in the corner and dead on. And one way to really kind of verify that, take your index line, set it on 1 inch, set it on 0. I might have to redo this video. I'm making a few mental errors here. Put this on 0. Now, if you blow this up, I mean, you couldn't be any more dead square than that. Now, let's take this object. I've got my nudge factor set on 1/4 inch, and I've got my offset for duplicate set at 0, 0. There's a couple of things you could do this. I'm going to make a duplicate, and since my nudge is 1/4, I'm just going to have to move my thing 4 times for 1/4 inch. Make another duplicate 4 times over. Now, since I changed jobs between those two, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to make a duplicate of these, and I'm going to move it down 4. But this time I'm going to just hit Control D, and it's going to take in the fact that it knows I want to do that because I moved down 1 inch the first time. Why not move 1 inch the second duplicate? So we're going to erase these, and so you can do it that way, or you can do it this way. You could have your X to move over 1 inch every time you make a duplicate. So we're going to do this, Control D, and it moved it over 1 inch. Go back off that and have this at 0. Set this at -1. So now every time you make a duplicate, it's going to move it down 1. Now I work in the center of the page a lot. I like the center of the page. I don't really know why. I'm going to intentionally make a mistake. I'm going to hit the P key to put these in the center. It put all 9 cubes in the center because that's what I told it to do, because I didn't have them grouped together. Group them together, arrange, group. Now put them in the center. Hit your Z key for zoom, zoom in. And there's another way to go back to that. I want to zoom into my thing so I can hit F4. If you hit F4, it'll zoom into anything you have on the work page. But if you have something over here, and you hit F4, it's going to show you both. So just keep that in mind. So that's why I use the Z key a lot. That way I can just group what I want. And just to show you, let's control key, hold that down, make a perfect circle. I just want that circle, hit the space bar, get your pick tool back. That's good enough. I want it in the center, press P. Now you've got it in the center of the page, and it's just so much easier. If you want your indexing lines in the center of the page, move them over, grab on them, move them over. And it's just, to me, it's just so much easier to work around. Now, a couple other things that a lot of people don't know or miss. If I want to have my freehand tool right now, I've got to go over here, highlight the box, get the freehand tool. Now I've got my freehand tool. I've got my freehand tool right here. One click, and I'm on my freehand tool. One click, and I'm on my virtual segment delete tool, crop tool. And these are very easily put up there. They're over here, but it just saves you a keystroke. So if you want these up here, right click, and as long as this is not locked, then you can left click, left click, and see how it's highlighted? Move it out to your workspace, and now you got your crop. You could leave it right there. And I've already got mine up here, but to put them up there, you would just put them right there. I'm not going to do it because I don't want them duplicated. Same thing on your crop tool. Right click, it's not locked. Left click, move them over here. I mean, if you're doing a lot of work, I mean, you can have it right there. Bam. Just saves you a couple of keystrokes. Another thing about the freehand tool, so we'll get up here and get our freehand tool. I'm going to draw something with a freehand tool, but now I want to move something. I'm going to hit my space bar, and I can move this line. I double clicked and it gave me a shape tool. But now I want my freehand tool back. Just hit the space bar. Well, I was on pick tool. So I do this, space bar, move off, click back, space bar, and I've got continuously keep having my freehand tool. Now, I've got my freehand tool set on 100. Let's set this thing on 50. And let's draw something, just a circle. See how that's got a couple of nodes and not very symmetrical? Let's set it back to 100. I'm going to try to do that same stroke. And look how smooth it is. That's a really big deal for me. Now, let's delete these. And you can delete them all just by grouping them all. We'll go ahead and get rid of this. Go ahead and get rid of our index lines. This is something that a lot of people don't know, and I didn't know for the longest time. There's your box. Get your pick tool and drag it. And get it about where you want it, hit the space bar. It's going to drop an object wherever you hit your space bar. That's a pretty cool item. And another thing real quick, and I know the video is getting a little long. A lot of things are right in front of your face. Like if you want the rectangle tool, it tells you right there it's F6. So you're sitting here and you just hit F6, you got your rectangle tool. F7, you got your ellipse tool. F5, you got your freehand tool. There's a lot of shortcuts that are on the menu board that a lot of people just don't think about. One thing in particular we might have already gone over is convert to curves. I think this is even set for default. So I'm going to convert that to a curve, go to my shape tool, and now I got a curve. And I can manipulate the corners. I hope that helped somewhat. Thank you for watching.